Hey everybody, this is one more APGov video for you coming from Mr. Maupin. Topic 5.4, how and why political parties change. We've talked about changes in political parties through realignments and through building coalitions and things like that. I wanted to round out by talking about how political parties have changed in terms of using modern technology to try to appeal to the modern voter. And a lot of this now in the last 15 years has been associated with social media. Today, almost all Americans, especially under the age of like 60, are connected to some type of social media. It might be Facebook, it might be, YouTube, it might be Instagram, it might be, all sorts of different things, TikTok, whatever. But Twitter, the idea being is that, political parties exist to win elections. Always remember that. And so one of the things that parties do to survive is you got to go to where the voters are, and you got to communicate your message. Now, in the old days, it might have been at a train station, it might have been at a baseball game, but now, voters are in social media, so you got to bring your message to them, and that has now become a very lucrative business unto itself, and this is done through the methods of what we call micro-targeting. Micro-targeting is using advertising to talk to a specific group of people. It might be, union steelworkers. It might be members of the LGBT community. It might be people living in Southern California. It might be, Asian Americans. It might be, folks that are, concerned about, reforming education or whatever. Whatever demographic you want to use, you are trying to identify who these people are and target your candidate or your party's message to that person. And the critical thing is that, if you know what drives a voter, then you can target that message to that voter. And now you might think, well, how do you know what's important to people? Like, how do you know? I mean, they're not doing necessarily individual polling of that depth with everybody. Well, they don't have to. We do it for them. We do it through our likes on social media, the things that we follow, the Facebook groups that we join. All those preferences are data points that are accessible by political party organizations, individual candidate campaigns, etc., to be able to find out information about you. This is what we call your psychographics. Basically being able to figure out what makes you tick. What is important to you. Are you somebody that is, frequently looking at, reels that show people, target shooting, going through target practice? Well, if that's the case, then that data would likely show that since you're watching a lot of folks doing target practice, that probably means you have an interest in guns. And if you have an interest in guns, you're probably somebody that wants to protect gun rights. And if you are someone that is, someone that is concerned about gun rights, well, let's say a Republican Party candidate might use that information and get an ad to you, or an interest group might get an ad to you, or something along those lines. An individual candidate's campaign might get an ad to you, showing their support for gun rights. It's a much more efficient way of doing it, as opposed to saying, hey, we don't know who you are, we don't know what you like, but here's some things that maybe you're interested in. This is a much better way to get your message to those people that you want to hear it. If you are, that steel worker, you're concerned about, workers' rights. Well, if the Democratic Party finds out that you are a member of this organization and you are part of a union Facebook group, they will be able to use that information to send you ads talking about, hey, so-and-so candidate is the candidate that supports labor unions. So you're using that, these candidates and parties are using this information to target ads to people they think will come out or could come out on election day. And here's the thing. Usually what happens with micro-targeting is not so much trying to win somebody over that would not likely vote for their party or this candidate's candidate, but rather reminding these folks who probably would be, based on the data, supportive of a given party or candidate, and reminding them in essence, hey, these are things that are important to you, and if they are, then you need to get out and vote and support this candidate or this party to, support the things that you care about. So it's a way of really motivating potential would-be voters as opposed to trying to win people over from, the other side. Now, using this information is fair game. We see the parties and the campaigns pay a lot of money for it, but there are some ethical issues because, a lot of this information that gets out there is information that we don't realize is going to be out there. And there's some ethics to this, should you be using information about people when they don't expressly say that you can use it? Now, there are, things like when you join Facebook, there is a release that you are, they are collecting data on your information and it is sold. And that's how Facebook's able to be free for users. But we've seen with the 2016 Cambridge Analytica scandal that, this can get in some pretty, unethical areas. Cambridge Analytica is a business that tries to aid campaigns by micro-targeting. And so what they did in 2016 is that they created a third-party app and were able to connect with people on Facebook and basically saying like, hey, here's a survey, can you let us get to know you, yada, yada, yada. But what people didn't realize, although Facebook knew this, is that those individuals that did willingly fill out information on this app, that app was able then, with Facebook's knowledge and de facto approval, to then not only connect to their data, but then to the accounts of their Facebook friends, and therefore be able to collect their data, and therefore collect data on people that did not have knowledge nor give permission to be able to do that. So that has created a lot of controversy. And so one of the things is basically this: the more you use social media, the more that you are opening yourself up to micro-targeting because there's more psychographic information for you out there. And so if you're somebody that doesn't like to be targeted with ads, well then lay off the social media. But that's just kind of where it works, And once again, just an example, it's just the most recent manifestation of going to where the people are. If people are watching television, you're going to see ads on television. If people are listening to the radio, you're going to see ads on the radio. If people are on social media, you're going to see ads on social media. And with social media being a much more individualized platform, if you will, media platform, that's where you're going to get the micro-targeting, where you couldn't quite as well do it with television or radio. Okay? All right, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.